This review has been brought to you in part by Main Irish Airsoft and APS.
That log straight ahead, they're going to be through there in a second. Here they come.
Hi, welcome back, Oddie's Airsoft. Again, it's raining, so you'll hear pitter patter in the background, but don't worry about it. It's June, it's Ireland, and we're used to it. So what are we reviewing today? Well, today we're looking at the Accuracy Pneumatics Shooting ASR-107, or better known as the APS ASR-107. So if you remember back, we looked at an APS M4 variant, and I really bigged it up. And typically you get, you know, whenever you big something up, you'll always have people on saying, well, I actually think it's a load of garbage. Well, let me state this from the beginning. These aren't being used long term by us. We've only used these in game for maybe a couple of hours. So it's unfair. We can't give a full review on these guns. All we can do is give you an idea of what we think. Mind you, playing with something for a couple of hours gives you a fair idea of what you've got on your hands. Second thing I need to say is these are budget guns. They're not high end, they're not middle end, they are the lower end of the lower end. These are cheap guns to buy. But that doesn't make them necessarily bad. And in fact, I have been really impressed by the APS range because of the cost factor of what they're, you know, to buy them off the shelf. It really is a steal for what you're getting. Yes, internally they could probably be a lot better. Externally they're quite solid, so you know, I'm quite happy with that. Internally they, as I said, could probably be a little bit better, but for the money you're spending on it, you are getting a lot of gun for your money. So let's get rid of the box and let's take out the gun. Now, this is a CQB version. Build quality again is superb. Nice cast metal, no wobble on the stock, very sort of dynamic looking riz rail, and then that sort of stubby-esque kind of finish with the built-in silencer. The sights are completely different. I'll let you have a look at them in a second. Back to the same old nugget though. ABS, sort it out lads, it's shocking. And that will give you feed issues. Now we were using G&G mags, and I think I put in a King Arms mags at one stage, and I tried to use a mid cap. The G&G fit fine, the mid caps didn't work at all. So what I would say is I would mod this completely on buying. I would get a little bit of foam strip, you know, the sticky type, sticky back foam that you can buy, and put just a strip in it in the mag well here, just so that when this slots in, it pushes it forward and it locks in tight, and then you won't get that rock. It seems to be a problem with all the APS guns that the mag wells are very big and the mags just don't sit as well as they should. It's an easy mod fix, but like everything in airsoft, you know, you shouldn't have to mod anything that's bought brand new, and these guys are now making these long enough to sort of winkle out the mistakes that they're making in the build. That aside, we had 6 guns out the other day testing them. Out of 6 we had 3 go slightly wrong. When I say slightly wrong, out of the box they went wrong, and unfortunately this was one of them. On firing, I have to tell you, it fires beautifully. It has full electric blowback, and it really clacks when it fires. It's really tasty, and there's a great rate of fire, and when the hop-up is engaged properly, there's a good range on it, a very good range. And this is where we came short. The hop-up would slip. The more you fired, the range decreased and the BB started to drop. So obviously something in the hop unit is slipping, and I would hazard a guess it's because the electric blowback is quite powerful. It's obviously rattling it. And I was talking to Chris in MIA, and he said a little bit of Loctite on a certain nut that's in there will fix that, and it's not a big issue. It was slightly it was a big issue for us when we were playing in game, because as I said, it meant every 2 seconds you were readjusting the hop. Now this could be a single unit that's gone slightly wrong. It happens. They're mechanical creatures and therefore temperamental creatures, and in fairness we had 2 G&Gs fail on us in the last while, and G&G are my favourite guns out of the box bar none, apart from the Magpul Masala, but that's a different thing altogether. That's very high end. But you know, G&G make middle to high end guns, and we've had 2 of them fail, one catastrophically out of the box, and so it happens. But all in all, I have to tell you, for the money, it looks far nicer than the M4 that I played with before. It fires nicer. There's a better rate of fire. Internally, they've changed it somewhat. It's still the very much a polycarbonate gearbox. They have listened to a lot of the problems they had on the first lot, and one of the first batches that came out with the APS was that the trigger itself melted under heavy loads, and so they've swapped out all the triggers and put in like a Bakelite version that will not melt. So they've adjusted any sort of inefficiencies they had in their first set and tweaked them, and I have to tell you, if the hop was working on this on the day, this would have been an outstanding gun. I'm sure, as I said, you know, it's a fixable problem, and I'm sure this is a lone item that is a problem, but do you know what? I can only review what's in front of me, and I can't tell a lie. We did have an issue. But that said, issue aside, I thought it was a smashing piece of kit. So I'm going to hand you over to Mark now.
Right, so following on from Jerry's initial review, I didn't actually get to play with the last APS we had. I did plink with it, but I didn't get to play with it. So it was good to get an opportunity to have this out in the field, see how it went. What I like about APS is that I'm guessing that all their internals are fairly standard, but they make different models with different externals to suit different tastes, which is nice. And this gun looks unusual. I mean, the sights themselves, I don't think I've ever seen them on any other gun, and while they look a bit futuristic, some people may say they're odd, they were certainly effective. Yeah, absolutely no issue with lining them up or zeroing them in. And as Jerry said, the build quality on these for a budget gun really is superb. You know, all metal externals. The switch for the selector is very positive. Locking bolt catch, good solid spring behind it, very nice. Yes, there were issues. I certainly experienced a lot of feed issues using G&G high caps. Once I held the mag steady in the magwell, they went away, so maybe Jerry's suggestion of putting a little bit of foam in the magwell would fix it. But again, so G&G high caps are what I consider to be the standard. They'll work in pretty much anything. And if I was having problems with G&G high caps in this, then it is an issue that does need to be addressed. The hop was a real pain in the butt, to be honest. I even went as far as getting a small crosshead screwdriver and tightening up the screw that's on the wheel, the adjuster wheel there. It was okay for a while. Once I tightened it up, but then it did loosen it again. As Jerry suggests, possibly because this has a very, very effective blowback feature, it is actually jarring this hop-up unit into loosening and losing its setting. But hey, you know, it could be a one-off. but I don't know. Maybe it's a problem that is affecting this the current batch of guns. We won't know that because we don't get to test these guns for terribly long. Now, one thing you'll need to be aware of with this new batch of APS guns, they're rear wired, and you will have to use a stock tube LiPo, right? They're designed to be used with a 7.4 stock tube LiPo. Just thank you, there's my assistant, hands me a battery. This is what ASG currently ships as a 7.4 stock tube LiPo. That won't fit, right? And I'll tell you why. Because inside, for some reason, APS have decided to include the fuse holder, which is a little bit inconvenient, because how can you get access to the fuse holder when it's in there without taking the stock tube off? Right. Now what I did was I used a couple of G&P slim stock tube LiPos, and they fit in there no problem. Even with a 10mm to DIMMs converter, they'd all fitted into the stock tube nicely, and it ran very, very nicely on that battery. So in use, I mean, apart from the hop issues and the feed issues, it does feel nice to shoot. The blowback is very effective, and I think if APS could get some of these niggles sorted out, they would be onto a winner with these guns, because they hit the right price points, they look great, when they're firing right they do fire very nicely indeed. But you know, it's hard to give this one 5 stars out of 5, because we did have some niggly issues with it that did affect the use of it. So that's my take on it. I do like the way it's built. For a budget gun, it really is very nice quality indeed. Yeah, I'm looking forward to maybe trying another gun from APS further down the line, but they do need to maybe have a look at those two issues with the hop unit and the magwell fit. So that's it from me.
What's your seat?
What's him gone?